Okay, in this short post I want to talk about one thing that everybody can do to strengthen their immune system with the coronavirus going around. Very good idea for all of us to strengthen our immune systems. We've been given various guidance by governments and medicine around hand washing and distancing and all of those kind of things, which are really, really good. What they haven't talked about are things that we can do in our daily diet and lifestyle to really strengthen our immune system. For some reason, which I'll talk about in a minute, I don't think this information yet has become widely known in our society. So the one thing, there's many things we can do to strengthen our immune system, but the one thing I would really strongly suggest everyone to do is to stop eating refined sugar and other concentrated sources of sugar, like concentrated fruit juices, which have a lot of fructose in, and anything with a lot of even more natural sweeteners like rice syrup and honey in. And this isn't a wacky idea. This is based on scientific research. It's quite widely accepted now that sugar does impair the immune system. A lot of this was based on some research that was done in 1973 at the Loma Linda University in California in the United States. And what they did was to feed people a load of sugar, 100 grams of sugar. That's quite a bit. That's the equivalent of quite a large, it says, bottle of soda, drunk a lot in America, you could say, or Coca-Cola or soft drink, or a couple of slices of cake. Some pastries, things like that. You're going to get a hit of 50 to 100 grams of refined sugar. So what they did was they fed people some with glucose, some with fructose, some with sucrose, which is refined sugar, and some with orange juice. And then they, at hour intervals, they took some blood, mixed it with some Staphylococcus bacteria, and then watched or took samples out to see what effect this had, particularly on a kind of white blood cell called a neutrophil. Neutrophils are a kind of white blood cell. They make up about 60% or more of white blood cells, and they're the kind of first reactors in our immune system. So wherever there's an infection or something foreign in the body, they go to that place, and they gobble up, Pac-Man style. They gobble up whatever it is, bacteria. Very much viruses, some evidence that they're gobbling up viruses, fungi, other materials as well. And what they found was that after eating sugar, these neutrophils really slowed up, or there was a slower rate of them gobbling up the Staphylococcus bacteria. And interesting, this effect went on up to 5 hours. So this means, well, it's in a piece of glass, test tube or petri dish or something. It's not in the body, but this is pretty good evidence that when we eat a lot of sugar at one time, it impairs our immune system for up to 5 hours. The implication is that if we have a really sugary breakfast, and you look at the breakfast cereals, a lot of them are 30, 40, even 50% sugar. Kellogg's Frosties, for example, the frosting is sugar, and they already have a lot of sugar in. That's going to reduce our immune response for 4 or 5 hours. If we then have some more sugar at lunchtime, a sugary dessert, something sweet in the afternoon, something else in the supper time, we've basically impaired our immune system for the whole day. And this is very likely what a lot of people are doing. Another interesting thing is that they tried feeding people starch as we get from whole grains, root vegetables, beans, etc. And there was no such effect at all. So this is with refined carbohydrates, not with complex carbohydrates. So what does this mean practically? We're in modern life, we become, we're eating sugar in everything. Tinned fish, sauces, just about everything has sugar in. This is what we've got used to. Interesting, the National Health Service in the UK has recommended that people reduce their sugar to only adults to 6 level teaspoons a day, which is not very much. In the bottom of a cup, it's about this much. You can imagine 6 level teaspoons. That's not a lot of sugar. You get more than that in a lot of single slices of cake and packets of biscuits and so on, for a whole multitude of different reasons. So this is really good advice anyway. It's natural for us to sometimes want a sweet flavour. It's one of the important flavours. We need sour, salty, sweet, bitter, etc., pungent. And the sweet flavours often has a more comforting, nourishing kind of feel. So we need some sweet foods to eat. But just imagine the world before there was refined sugar. People did okay, and we can cook particularly root and round vegetables until they're really sweet potatoes, carrots, parsnips, swede, squash, onions, etc. And we can also make simple desserts using the natural sweetness in fruits, in berries and apples and pears and so on, to make some nice desserts. So we can give ourselves some sweetness without hitting the body with these high levels of refined sugar. If you want to know more how to do that, on the International Macrobiotic School website, under information, there's you can download a whole document, a whole kind of article on how to cut out refined sugar in your diet, and there's recipes and lots of good advice there. A big question is, why isn't this information more widely known, and why hasn't there been really a lot of research in this? You think this would be a really, really important thing to do a lot of research on, and yet there hasn't been a lot of scientific medical research, which just seems bizarre. So I've been asking myself, why is that? And I think a few possible reasons. One is at the end of the 1800s in Europe, when people like Pasteur were looking into what causes infectious diseases, and they were discovering bacteria and the whole germ theory came about, which then led to pasteurization of milk and other foods, and also to immunization, or to vaccines, I should say. And there was actually a big debate going on at that time. There were some people like Pasteur who were saying that it's the microorganisms, it's the bacteria that are the prime cause of illness. There were others like Koch, who were saying, yes, that's partly true, but it is also people's diet and social conditions which leads to illness. An infection can go around, and it affects some people much more than others, particularly people with poor diets and poor social conditions. Out of those two theories, the germ theory really won out, and the diet, lifestyle way of looking at it really has been given very little attention in Western medicine until quite recent times. So, so really through the last 120 years of science and medicine, they've in macrobiotics or Oriental medicine, they've taken a very Yang approach. They've really looked at detail, and they've really investigated things on a microscopic scale very, very well. And that's given us a really good understanding of how microorganisms cause illness. And that's given us antibiotics and various other kind of treatments against microorganisms, which have been very, very useful. But that has been to the detriment of the other way of looking at things, which is an infection could go around. Some people will get it really badly. Some people may die from it, and other people get it mildly, or may not even get any symptoms at all. For some reason, Western medicine has hardly looked at that phenomena at all, which is really such a shame, because that way of looking at things, I would say, is equally as important as understanding the microorganisms which cause illness. And right now, during this coronavirus pandemic, it would really serve humanity well to understand that better, and the steps that we can all take to strengthen our immune system and either avoid catching coronavirus, or if we get it milder, rather than more seriously. Wouldn't that be fantastic information to be out in the public domain? And along with the wash your hands and distancing and other precautions, if the governments were telling people how to strengthen their immune systems as well, it could definitely reduce the number of serious cases of the number of people who are seriously affected by coronavirus. So it feels to me that one reason for that is that Western science and medicine has gone in a particular direction, and it has rather ignored the other direction. Although in the last 25 years Western medicine has really begun to look at the dietary and lifestyle causes of illness, thank goodness. This is where really we can look to things like Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, macrobiotic approach to healing, etc. These traditional forms which have studied the dietary, emotional and lifestyle causes of illness much, much more thoroughly than Western medicine has. And really these are, there's some very useful understandings in this. So in macrobiotics we'd say that sugar is more yin, it weakens especially the mucous membrane. Very little research. One of our main defenses to infections is having a strong mucous membrane that holds out bacteria, fungi, viruses, etc. Very little research has been done into how to strengthen our mucous membrane to keep these things out. Sugar is one of the things that weakens this mucous membrane, I believe, as well as its effect on the white blood cells. Maybe another reason why this area hasn't been researched of the effect of sugar on the immune system is that there's no money to be made from it. Most medical research is by drugs companies, and then there's the reward of producing a drug, which then produces financial income. There's not been a lot of financial incentive to check out, well, how does sugar affect our immune system or our health in general? So maybe that's another reason. You might have some other reasons as well, some other ideas as well. Please consider really cutting out or reducing as much as possible sugar in your diet and learning some other ways of cooking. So a neighbour just delivering some vegetables, which is very nice, and some seeds, because we're all into growing loads of food around here. I'll publish some photos of the veg garden sometime soon. I've dug a load with some more veg beds. I really want to grow more veg this year. So I'm going to have a look and see if I can attach a couple of things to this post, a few references to that research that's been done. WebMD, which is a respected medical source, quotes the same information. One of the reasons for not eating sugar is it inhibits your immune system. Also, if you'd like to learn more, I'm running quite a few online courses here. So next week I'm beginning how to boost your health during these difficult times. A series of short classes looking at food and exercise and emotions and de-stressing and a whole load of different things. And in a couple of weeks' time, a more in-depth course strengthening your immune system using a lot of Oriental medicine and some Western medicine to really understand how to strengthen our immunity. And we're also going to do a series of cooking classes on eating healthy plant-based foods, how to make nice meals, and also how to make nice desserts, all without refined sugar. So do check those out. If I can, I'll put a link to those under this. Otherwise, you can go to our website, www.macroschool.co.uk. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Please get this information out, or please share this. You know, this is not a miracle. This isn't gonna. This is. I'm not selling some kind of miracle solution here. This is just like a very simple, common sense thing that everybody can do, that will make a bit of difference. You know, to all of our immunity, most likely. Okay, thank you very much.